Did you go to Manchester United the other day with
I did
Charlton?
go to United the other day, yeah, to see Charlton.
Yeah.
I'm an Arsenal supporter in my heart, but the truth is, Brendan is such a fanatical Charlton supporter that I'll go there with him a lot, more than I ever go to Arsenal. It's only at the bottom of my road. So I've ended up half turning into a bit of a Charlton supporter. Right. And we all went up there and there's 10,000 people go. Exactly what I was talking about a minute ago. There's
Yes.
10,000. Yeah. You've all drove hundreds of miles and you're at one end of the pitch and the actual pitch is stunning. Yeah, the Land of Dreams or whatever it's called. The
Yeah.
actual Man U football pitch. I know it's a lot better now, Tottenham and Arsenal, but the actual pitch was stunning. You know, it was right at one end, right in the middle, looking down there. And Charlton held out 1-0, which was very respectable against Man United to about the 87th minute. And then Rashford come on and scored 2 goals and made it 3-0, which
Yeah.
I suppose, right, with Man United, do you know what I mean?
So you never
So,
at any point felt like doing a Jason Mariner and running on the pitch and being a hooligan?
well, a couple of years ago, I might have enjoyed that. I couldn't climb over the fence.
Have you
No,
ever been attracted because you know all these ex-hooligans like Carlton and Kaz and
they're all good friends of mine. Yeah, yeah. And I listen, I've been to football matches with them, and
yes,
I completely understand the adrenaline rush and unbelievable bad behaviour that it would drag out of you on the way home if you're winning or losing or what you'd be prepared to do while you've got this herd mentality of 10,000 people all going, right? You know, it is a testosterone rush that unless you have been there or been to war or been standing in a boxing ring and knocked someone out and you're standing over his body and there are 10,000 people shouting out your first name, you know, it's something that a woman wouldn't understand, but it is a rush that could get you in some serious trouble, you know, and would make you run on the pitch, would make you want to rip your shirt off and go, come on, to 60 Stoke supporters or, you know, it is a rush, yeah. I
yeah.
suppose it's the same as the American footballers all going, hoot, 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 ho, or going to war. You know, it's the
I know.
same thing, you know.
So I've got a question here. It says, at what moment in your life did you think you've had it here, that you can't get out of this? You're in a really bad situation. You know, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm knackered here. You know, like was somebody going to attack you or were
I've
you
had a couple of them. I've been standing beside someone when they got shot.
right?
I've been standing beside someone and he got shot. And all they had to do was move 2 inches and I was dying as well. So there's one, you know.
Was
Every
that
time
with
you
Seymour? Was that with Seymour?
oh, that's another time. I've been shot at a few times. I've been
Mhm.
shot at a few times. The Seymour one, because I was doing it for him,
Mhm.
because I was trying to save him, I weren't really frightened then because I'm doing it for one of mine. And
Mhm.
if you're trying to save the baby or save your right hand man, you know, it's a different kind of bravery coming. If you're on your own and you're doing something like that, it's a different feeling. If you're going to save your baby or save, you know, people dive into the Thames to save a kid. They can't swim. You know what I mean? Like, I was saving someone. There was a man with a gun to his head going to kill him. So it didn't enter my head that it was frightening or I ain't going to get out of this. I couldn't let that happen or I couldn't be seen to let it happen and not do nothing about it. So I ran at the bloke, you know, and I done that, and I made some pretty good escapes. I've been in a couple of positions where I thought that was the end.
Really?
And a man called Robert Lopez was working on the door where the unfortunate person died in Brixton, the academy, just the other week. Yeah,
Right.
the rush. An emergency exit door opened where they just all rushed the door, and 200 men come run into this concert, and there was me, Robert Lopez, a man called Santos, Eamon, and we had the fight of our life. But because it was only in a fire exit, which was about 6 foot across, we could hold a line and hold it. It didn't matter if there was 10,000; they could only come 4 at a time. Do you understand
Yes.
what I mean?
Yeah.
We put up an hell of a fight, but we did know that all that had to happen was one of us fall over, and then they would have just trampled over us, and we would have died. And we held them off for a little. I've had a few very scary moments. Yeah, I've had some very scary moments. I've
Yeah.
been
Do you ever look back on them and be like have a nightmare over them and think, oh bloody hell, that was...
now, but I look back on them and I get more frightened. Not frightened. What's the word? Aware of the situation I was in now.
Yes.
More than I was then when it was happening. When I think,
would it be all right? Here's a question: would it be scarier now? Because obviously then you were, maybe younger and fitter and this and the other. If you were suddenly put in a situation like that now, would you feel like, oh, I don't know if I can handle this so well now?
Two answers there. Personally, I would still feel I can do this, right? I can do this, but in reality, I couldn't.
Yeah.
Right? In reality, I couldn't. At 35, 40, I genuinely believed you was invincible. I genuinely believed the company I had around me, what I could drag up if I needed to be. There wasn't a position in the world where I would be in any danger. Even if I was on my own, I would definitely be able to handle it, and genuinely believe that. And I'm still alive to tell the story, so I like to think in my own little head, yeah, you done all right. Now I genuinely believe it, but in all honesty, I doubt it.
Okay. Well, I've got another question. So, do you worry about age, that you're getting older? Do you feel are you worried about dying or anything else like that, or do you care?
I'm not worried about dying. I'm not worried about age. I am aware now that I'm not physically able to do the things I used to be able to do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got loads of hurts and arthritis things and all that. I've got the breath capacity of a gnat. I could have a row for 20 minutes before. Mm-hmm. You'd actually get a minute out of me now before I just couldn't fall over and stop breathing. You know what I mean? I'm aware of all of that. You don't like it. Yeah, you hate yourself for it, but you got to keep doing it. I'm definitely not worried about dying. I can genuinely, with my hand on my heart, I genuinely mean this. If I was to drop dead this afternoon, I am 100% sure I've lived a better, more exciting, more fulfilling life anyone else I know. Right? There was a time in my life where I wouldn't have been anyone else in the world. If they went to me, who would you like to be? I would have actually gone, no one. I actually want to be Dave.
Yeah. Well, you're less Dave that I know.
And you know that. You knew me then.
Yeah.
There was no one else in the world. There was no one else in the world I would have rather been. I was driving around in a Rolls Royce, and my wife had a Rolls Royce. I couldn't have get treated any better at the door of Stringfellows or whatever. They'd open the door the same for me as they would have Brad Pitt. I had a prettier girlfriend, nicer car, beautiful hotel. It was bulging pockets of money that ain't there no more. You know what I mean? I could not have been. I lived the dream. So if I was to drop down dead today, at least I've had all of that and still got it in abundance more than most. So I've had my fair share. Right now, some days you can not want to get up, can't you?
Yeah.
So, some days, 70's now. My mum's 90.
Yeah. Well, you might make 90. You never know.
I don't want to 90.
So can I ask? You've been
Mr. Courtney, what?
You've organised and been at like some of the biggest funerals that London's had and stuff like that. So at your funeral, right? Will it be massive? And what do you want to happen there? It'll be huge, won't it?
I should imagine everyone in the world would like it to be a big funeral, but I'm afraid the authorities have made it very, very hard now for anyone that's infamous for being naughty to actually celebrate their gangster life. They've made it very hard to do another catering funeral or any of that. And if you have a big funeral, you've got to have it in a church. Because how can you have 1,000 people in a registry office? You can't.
Yeah, but would you like the all the horses, the bikes, the outdoors?
I think that's a bygone era, right? Of
Mm.
course I'd like it. Stop it. Stop it. You know, I only want about 10, 20,000 people there, that's all.
I'm sure that's downplaying it. It's downplaying it. All right, I better do it.
Pole dancers carrying the actual cup. I don't know. That wouldn't I?
Yeah, you've got to have the pole dancers. I've got a couple of these are questions from subscribers. Yeah. They say, so this is a guy, Barry Watson. He says he loves watching you and Jason. I'm mates with Dave and Bren. Any chance of a shout out from Bazza? You know Bazza?
Yes. I love you, mate. I love you. And I will see you on the 18th at my birthday party, 18th of February.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic.
Before. Yeah.
And he also says...
Yeah, they're still doing the documentary for Amazon. I'm still doing that with Dice Recordings, that Big Nasty's lot. They're still doing a 3 1-hour part documentary. I've got a new book now that's actually in the making of, I'm getting a new ghostwriter in about 2 weeks' time, and that's going to start and come out with the documentary in June or July.
Fantastic.
Davey's having another little spurt, yeah.
Yeah, I hope I get a mention. I want to mention in the book, please.
You just know I was going to put a picture of you on the cover. Come on.
Now, another one here, Chrissy Baxter. He says, please can you say, has anybody ever told you you are a lovely, lovely man?
That's Chrissy Baxter and Mr. Baxter. They are good friends of someone called Don Kelly, who I was a doorman with many years ago. And I think the actual meeting of Dave Courtney, after hearing all the silly bits, they actually went, do you know what? And they're lovely people. They are lovely. They paid their telly license, wouldn't park on a double yellow line. He goes, you're actually a lovely, lovely man. Lovely. I said, do me a favour. I said, would you ring me up every day and say that for me? That'd cheer me right up. Just as a joke, like saying that. And I promise you that these people ring me up once a day. Every day and go, Dave, you are a lovely, lovely man, and put a phone down. Well, how cool is that? How cool
That's
is that?
Nice. It's very nice, isn't it? Now, we talked last time about Dave Logino, and there was a bit of confusion that people were saying. Did he actually commit suicide? Did he deliberately go into the desert?
Well, I'm afraid, no, I'm afraid. It actually, it's a grey area because I couldn't imagine why else someone would walk off into the desert with no water and no supplies and just walk as deep in as far as he could, knowing he couldn't get back if he didn't want to commit suicide. There wasn't any proof that someone took him in there and left him in there. There wasn't any marks on his body where he'd been tied up, hurt, forced to go into the desert. I believe, I don't know, that he committed suicide. He just walked into the desert as far as he could with no water, knowing that is how he wanted to go. A very strange way to go, and maybe I might be completely wrong, but I haven't got no explanation of why he died, how he did, when he did, why he did, other than he wanted to. And right. He was the kind of bloke that done what he wanted to.
It's funny, but so I've got this from this guy called Lord Farqua, right? He said he was wise enough nutritionally to go out into the desert well equipped, but only 3 weeks before he sat with a mate and his solicitor sorting out all his finances for his daughter. So that's a bit weird, isn't it?
I genuinely believe he did it on purpose.
Yeah.
I can't prove that, but he's not an idiot. He's not a div, and he very much would have chanced himself and going for a long walk in the desert with all the bits and pieces, but he knew bloody well just walking that way for 3 days with no water, he wouldn't be able to get back. He knew, and And he did make every single newsreel in every single country in the world.
He did, didn't
And
he?
he would have, listen, he would have loved that. He was on news at 10. I bet I'm not on news at 10 when I die.
Oh, I think you will be. I think you will be. Well, we've only got 3 minutes left, Dave. So TG says, hello, Dave. I met you outside a shop in Luton a couple of months ago. It's me,
Hello,
Tom.
Steve.
Right, so that was all. Now, there's another fellow who said he met you in Tenerife in 2001 or 2002. I don't suppose you remember him. But he swears, he said, Dave had been fighting with the Spanish guard that night, and he bumped into you and your mates at a different club. So is that right? You'd had a fight with
There was the trouble with Seymour, yeah.
Yeah.
So hello, my friends. You're right.
So there you go. So Jack Jones, he said Dave would make a great voice for sat nav directions.
I've done that 15 odd years ago. I was one of the very first ones. I got paid 15 grand for it. And then I got arrested with the Austin Warns thing, and they never ever put it on.
Oh, what a shame. What a shame.
I've done it,
yeah. You only got a couple of minutes to go. So, Dave, what's the plans for this week? What are you going to do? What excitement's going to happen for you?
Oh, I'm going up to Stow-on-the-Wold to see somebody.
Yeah. And you've got this show coming up soon, haven't you? You're back doing your one-man show.
On the 12th. Mm-hmm. I've got a show in Leamington Spa on the 12th. I think next Sunday I've got a show on the radio. I can't remember what it was, what station, but if you look on my website here. But Leamington Spa on the 12th, that's a Sunday afternoon, I'm doing a show, and I want everyone that I don't get to see up that half of the M1 to come and have a meet me there. Right? I think
just there's a few things in there that people asking questions where they've been a bit like hesitant to come up and talk to you, or they've been a bit scared or whatever. But you like people coming up and having a chat, don't you?
I live for that. I mean, I've read some of the things that would make me look scary to talk to, but I've never bit anyone. I'm a rabbiter. I love talking. All right. So you bother stop and ask me to sign something, I'll sign it. You want to go and knock on the door and say hello, I'll open it and say hello. Yeah. Right, there ain't and I answer my phone. There's no PA. I answer my door. There's no butler. There's no bulletproof vest on. Yeah. The gates are.
So you never know. You never know what woman could turn up this week knocking on the door. You don't know what's going to happen, do you?
No. So. I leave the door open, but it's too cold.
All right, folks. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. I always love talking to Dave, one of my favorite people in the world.
And I love Liam. I love you.
Right. See you soon, Dave. And thanks very much to subscribers who asked the questions. Cheers.